How's it going, everybody? Finally making another video here today on this channel. It's been over 2 weeks, I believe. But I'm just be rambling about games. I think I did one here a little while back on this channel, just rambling about everything game related. Hitting a couple specific topics of videos I've seen on here. People actually been talking about this stuff for a while, but just stuff, just about anything. This actually. The other day I went to this place, Toy Busters, and this place has good. They have video games, comics, cool place, old toys and stuff, and movies, shit like that. Other board games, all types of memorabilia and collectibles. But I ended up getting Tecmo Super Bowl, which I love, for the Super Nintendo, for $3. This is a great deal. This game typically sells for maybe around 15. On the average, 15 to 20 on eBay. But I love this game. It was, and you can still see it here. The label's got a little bit of stuff, but I actually did replace this back with an old sport game because the back part of the case was completely cracked and stuff. It was really bad. The label's got some damage, but the save battery works fine. It's an awesome game. I have it on the Genesis. I do prefer this version a little bit more. Not that there's much differences between them both, outside of a little bit of graphical differences and some music. But it's for that price. I was like, I saw it. I was like, £3, really? I'm like, because it was in the back of this. They had them in these baggies, hook and reach back, grab it. They don't have a ton of games, but they have good prices. Where a place I'd gotten 007 Bloodstone for $360. Well, this was like maybe 8 months ago. Actually, 8-9 months ago. For $8, which is a great deal. It's complete and everything. Very cool game as well. But I was happy to get this. Like I said, I swapped out the little tool to pop these open. Just popped that out, and I was happy to see that the save battery works. Because that's always a problem with older games. The save battery might work. You got to solder a new battery onto the cartridge. The board, I should say. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm talking about random stuff. Like, I grabbed this Echo the Dolphin mainly because the Genesis, this is actually my original case from when I was a kid. The game is not. I think these are the best video game cases, the original Genesis cases with this kind of checkerboard pattern. The Master System had the same kind of pattern, but didn't have great artwork on the front. They were kind of plainer covers with a little bit of artwork, but they were white, and this changed it to black. These look so great on a shelf, these games, with this case. They did change the case, unfortunately. The red, I should have grabbed one of the red ones, but later on, the red spine and stuff. This case is so much better, though. I used to rip the tabs off of these. The Dolphin, it's a cool, unique game, but kind of annoying. And it's got the original manual in there and stuff, which is nice. I had a couple of my original cases from back then. But I just wanted to talk about how this game case, it just looks so great. Like, this checkerboard pattern type thing is I don't know. It always was awesome to get, in these kind of cases. Super Nintendo, you didn't have it. You just had the box and then the game dust cover. This, you get in a fresh case and shit. It's really cool to just be able to get a case. And you feel like you get more, almost, because this can be displayed on a shelf. A lot of times with people, myself included, which I don't know why I did this when I was younger. I did it on the NES as well. I didn't do it on the Nintendo 64 because I was a little older. By the time the Nintendo 64 came out, I was... it came out in 96. I would have been 17. I got it in senior year of high school. I was 17 when I got it. I kept all the boxes for those. I since sold those games, but I never got rid of the boxes for them. But NES, and although even stuff like the Commodore, I would throw out there the boxes as well. I'm pretty sure they keep boxes. I'd keep the manuals obviously and stuff, but. And the TurboGrafx, when I had TurboGrafx 16, those came in jewel cases as well, PlayStation or whatever. And I always kept those, but I always kept these also. I wasn't throwing this out. I throw my Super Nintendo boxes out, my NES boxes out. Because I was like, it's a box, whatever. I shouldn't have. That's why I learned on Nintendo 64, but I always kept these. You have to. I'm not throwing that out, you know. Like I said, I just grabbed a bunch of stuff and just I'll talk about it. Then I'll talk about some other things. I grabbed Condemned because it's an awesome horror game. Underrated horror game, in my opinion. Bloodshot is really good too, the second one, but this one is creepier and I think overall better. The second one leans more into the kind of really like supernatural stuff with his voice. They almost could do like a shout. This is before Skyrim. He did this thing with his like throat. He's like, your character, Ethan Thomas. But this one didn't really play into it too much. It only kind of alluded to it. But you're an FBI agent. You're going around. It kind of sucks that this is. I mean, whatever. This is like $7. But of course, GameStop. I didn't get this at GameStop. It was a retro game store. But GameStop, when they would put the sticker on the artwork, like, what are you doing? Why would they do that? Most of the time, it was just on the case. And sometimes they'd slam it onto the artwork. I did not understand that. I didn't like the Platinum Hits cases for the 360. I like the Platinum cases for the original Xbox. But I never liked them on here. This game's awesome, though. It was like forensics. You did more forensic type stuff in Bloodshot. But it's like you're trying to search for a serial killer and stuff. Shit's happening. You know, it's just a cool game, creepy vibe. You're in the subway system. You end up in an old school. The end fight is in just a house. You know, like it's very kind of just like grounded in a lot of ways before it alludes to the more supernatural stuff. You're in an office building, I believe, you know, abandoned office building and stuff. It's just a cool game. It has that weird, you know, those first 360 games that came out, that weird like shine on the graphics. Some of the you almost can kind of see it a little bit in the stills. It's like that they almost look like plasticky. It's a weird. Like graphically, it still looks decent, but it had all of those earlier games like Cameo as well and Perfect Dark. I feel had it also. Just a weird. Some of the games have this weird kind of like look, like the shine or whatever, but. This is legitimately a creepy game, though. If you're into horror games, check this out. It's just a good game overall. Great hand-to-hand combat. They've been now shut down, but Monolith Studios made this. They also made the Fear games. I think that kind of James Bondish game. What was it, like No One Lives Forever or something? That was one of their old. That came before this, I believe, or around the same time. This was the same exact price. I had gotten this and Silent Service at the NES, for the NES. Back in, I was actually at the Video Game Trading Post in Sunrise Mall in Massapequa, which that mall is done. It's still there. I think part of it's becoming an Amazon warehouse, and they're splitting up the other parts of it. What date was this? January 19th, 21 at 3:23 p.m. And I got Silent Service for the NES for $4. This was $8. The same price GameStop was selling it for them. This is a fairly cheaper game. Bloodshot's a little more expensive. I need to get Bloodshot. I'm pretty sure Bloodshot is not backwards compatible to 360. Like on the Xbox One, sorry. So I'd have to get it and play it on 360. That game's still cool. That one has it like where I think the mayor gets killed in that one. Like someone's killing people on the side, but then the paranormal weird stuff is starting. The science fiction type stuff comes into play. But there's a really cool scene in Bloodshot with the rabid bear in the cabins chasing you. It's actually really cool. It's still a really cool game. It's just, I don't think it's as creepy, and it leans a little too much into that stuff and that kind of science fiction stuff, which is not necessarily bad, but in terms of the vibe of this game, where you're thinking killers and stuff and haunting type shit, not haunting, but like creepy atmosphere and stuff, it kind of takes away from it a little bit, but it's still a good game. But the first one's better in my opinion. And this is a game I want to try to play again. Twilight Princess on the Wii. This is one of those games. I'm going to say GTA gets delayed till 26. It will probably get delayed again. I feel like they want to delay it until the PS6 comes out and the new Xbox, so they can release it cross-platform, kind of like they did with this. I'm pretty sure Breath of the Wild absolutely kept getting delayed for the Wii U until the Switch came out. Then it released on both. I feel like that game got delayed like 2 years so they could squeeze it onto the Switch, because they're like, the Wii U is a lost cause, but we've already been developing it. We got to start making it for the Switch as well, get them both out at the same time. They did the same thing with this. This game was supposed to come out on the GameCube, I feel, in like 04. I feel like it was not too long after Wind Waker came out. they might have even had a trailer for this, just a very not much going on trailer where it just showed like an adult themed Link. And it wasn't like the cartoon version you got with. I love Wind Waker, but it had that. People didn't like it at first, that kind of toon look to it. But Wind Waker's a fantastic game. But people, that's why I thought like part of that trailer might have come out before even Wind Waker did, and then they switched it. But I could be completely wrong, and I probably am. But this got delayed too because they wanted to release it on the Wii as well as the Switch. I mean, the GameCube. I wish I had gotten the GameCube version because I liked what I played of this game, but the controls were just annoying me too much, the motion controls and stuff. I wasn't digging it, but I do want to try to go back to it. And play it. This is actually my mom's copy. I was there when I was in Florida, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago at this point. Actually, no, it's been 4 years ago. And I noticed, I'm like, you have a Wii? I took my stepdad passed in 21, but he had the 360, which I had brought back here. I brought that back last summer. I was like, can I just take my, I was like, go ahead and take it. I don't use it, but she doesn't use the Wii. And I saw she had Twilight Princess. I was like, and Trauma Center Second Opinion. I'm like, do you care if I take you? Go ahead. I haven't played it since like Wii was sitting there untouched for like years. But I also I grabbed the strategy guide too. She had the strategy guide. I was like, okay. But yeah, I played it back when it came out, and then I sold my Wii, and I'll give it another shot. I think, see if I can deal with the motion controls more. And the last thing before I start rambling about other stuff is I wanted to show this. I don't think I talked about this on this channel. Maybe I did. I've definitely talked about it on my other channel, my ASMR channel. But this is a No Mercy for the Nintendo 64. Seems like, it's just a wrestling game. I think it's like $30 in value. I got this at a garage sale. It does have an autograph. A lot of people are saying it's probably, or I looked it up too, kind of similar. It could be Chris Jericho's autograph. Don't know for sure. If anybody's into wrestling and recognizes that, let me know. But this game I picked up at a G sale. It was $10. It was just this game. I got in box and manual of Ogre Battle 64. I think it's Ogre Battle 64 and Paper Mario. When I saw the boxes for those, I was like, there's no way the game's going to be in here. And they weren't, but they had the manuals. And those cases, those boxes and manuals still have a good amount of value, like over $100 in value. And this was there. I grabbed this because I'm like, oh, this is like a $30 game. I like the, what was it? WCW NW World Tour and the WCW NW Revenge. I played a good amount of on this 64. Other than that, wrestling games, I think SmackDown Here Comes the Pain on the PS2 I put a lot of time into. And then I did a bunch of the GM mode on one of the more recent ones. It's like almost with the basketball game. I want to just do the eras mode. With the wrestling, I just want to do the GM mode. I don't even care about the matches and play the matches. If I get a wrestling game, I just want to kind of set up the pay-per-views and the Raw and SmackDown and stuff. Sign the free agents or whatever. And do that, kind of set up angles or whatever. But a lot of people love this game. And I pick it up, and I'm like, all right, I'm thinking about selling it. I'm like, I'm going to sell it. I'm not going to play it. And I just happened to look it up, and there's some selling for like $250, $300. I was like, what? So I had to look it up. Now, if you can see on this one, it's probably not going to focus well. Let me see if I can get it to focus better. Let me get in there. Go. See how it has a -1 down here, USA -1 on that. Well, apparently this game had a problem where if you tried to save or do something, it could destroy your game, just ruin it. So people had that problem. They would send it back to THQ to get a replacement, and they would send it back with the -1 as the newer version or whatever. It's you're showing it's just -1. This one has value to it. This one's worth $250, $300. Well, I should say it's worth as much as someone's willing to pay for it, because these don't sell often. So realistically, they could be worth nothing, or I could. But if I sat here and put this at $50, it would probably sell immediately. I don't know if the autograph hurts the value or not, but the cartridge is in good shape. But I was like, oh my god! I'm like, let me look at mine and see. I'm like, oh shit, it has -1 on there. This was like a $250 game. I didn't even know at the time. I'm just like, No Mercy. It has like $20, $30 value. I'll grab it, maybe sell it, and I want to. And I'm like, oh shit. But once again, if nobody wants to buy it, it's worth nothing. I might as well just sell it at $30, you know. But who knows? The value might have changed. It might be less now. But I just wanted to talk about that real quickly, and then do some additional rambling for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Sorry, look at something there. But yeah, I've watched a couple of videos on here about, like, not who ruined gaming. You see a lot of these videos where game collecting's dead, retro. I swear one person does it. And they got like anything on YouTube, right? One person does it. It gains some traction. Everybody starts doing it, right? I sold my game collection. I bought it again. I sold it. You probably didn't sell it the first time. But hey, it draws views, right? You do what you got to do to get views. But I'm watching some of these things, people talking about who's kind of ruining game collecting. Is it the like, not even just resellers? Like, I'm talking, the scalpers who buy up stuff and they sell it on Amazon for like 40%, 50% more than what it sells for even on eBay. Or other people that get these games for dirt cheap and sell them for not even like at the going value, which you might think is too high, or even lower. Like, it's so high over it, right? The scalpers or the resellers to blame, or even collectors to blame. Some people say the collectors are at fault. And then somebody had a good video, and I watched, and he was saying, like, a lot of it, he was kind of not just blaming them completely, but a lot of people, I'm clueless, but people that don't know. Like, if you go onto Amazon, and Mario 3 was the example, people will sell Mario 3 for the NES on Amazon for like $35, $40 when it sells for literally like $15, and it's pretty much been $15 to $20 for a long time. It's one of those games that's never really gone all over the place. And but some people go on and they don't know the value. They don't bother doing the research. They don't know how to do the research. I don't know why you wouldn't, or they just don't care. They're just like, I don't give a shit. I'm buying it here. I'm buying it off Amazon. I trust Amazon, whatever. And that's to an extent, yeah, true, because if people are going to buy that from people at that price, it's going to cause a lot of other sellers to bump it up. Now, I don't think Amazon is that heavy in terms of retro reselling. Obviously, compared to eBay, you're going to find, I feel, a ton more copies on eBay. So it's harder to kind of get away with that on eBay because you're going to find cheaper ones unless everybody follows suit. There was a video I watched. It was a guy... He was like manipulating the pricing of a game. He bought up a ton of some Game Boy game. I cannot remember what it was. A ton of them. Like almost all of them that were on eBay. And then he started to artificially drop the price by making it cheaper. He had so many and it was forcing anybody else to have it to lower their price as well. And I think he did it by buying a ton and bumping the price up as well. But somebody was also talking, a lot of people talk about YouTubers talking about, like, their hidden gems and stuff. And what games that, they mention. And this is another thing this guy mentioned on his video that made a lot of sense. He was like, I forget the guy's name. I'd watch one of his other videos too. I'm not subbed to him. I probably will, actually. I don't know if I will sub. His content looks good. I don't know. It was a specific topic I just found and wanted to watch, so I don't know if I want to watch everything, but I might give him a sub. Because this was a very well done video. And he was talking about some of these YouTubers that are bigger and they mention a hidden gem. You probably know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention the names. But he says, this game's a hidden gem, and then this game sells for $10 normally. All of a sudden, he mentions it. He's got a big following. He's got a bigger following now. Even when he had a smaller following, 100, 200,000 subs, all it takes is 200-300 people will immediately go buy that game. All of a sudden, people see that it's selling, and they're like, oh, shit, I'm going to bump my price up. All of a sudden, the price goes up for this thing, right? There's less available. Now people are like, well, I'm going to charge $10 more now. And he made a good point about this. He's like, the person will be pissed that they can't get this game at the price it used to be at, but they didn't even know the game existed until this guy mentioned it in his video. So is he trying to artificially bump up the prices? Maybe. Unknowingly. Maybe. Because it does naturally happen if that many people rush to buy it. And all of a sudden, there was 200 left on there. Now there's only 5 left on eBay, and new people start listing them, and they look and see what they sell for. I'm going to start to bust it up a little bit more. There's not many available. There's not a lot of people competing with me and trying to sell it at a cheaper price. Goes from there. Are they doing it on purpose to maybe? I mean, the thing is, people always say, "Oh, game prices are going down." I mean, it's funny because game prices seem like they're going up. In some instances they are, but other games are not. Like, other games have gone down in price. You can still find a lot of excellent games. I don't understand, like, something, like survival horror games are insane. Like Rule of Rose, it's like a $900 game, right? There was Kuon. I remember Kuon, I swear this was like in 2009, 2010. You could get this game for $10 at GameStop. Now that game's, I think, even over $1,000. It might be the most valuable PlayStation 2 game. Probably isn't, but it's definitely up there. Horror games, survival horror games are nuts. Like, even in the retro game stores on Long Island, when I was back there, living there, it's like, I remember it was like Silent Hill 2, 3, they were like $60, $70, $80. And all of a sudden, like 3 months later, I go, they're all over $100. They just keep going up. I'm like, what? But I don't know why. Like, and then Haunting Ground's another over expensive one. Here's the thing, like, and people always talk about their holy grails. This is the thing, I don't understand the holy grail thing, and I've talked about, I think, my collecting habits on this channel. The holy grail thing to me is weird, unless you really like the game. I don't know, this is from my perspective though, right? We're all different people, we have different perspectives, so I can't knock somebody. I'm trying to understand why you would drop $900 on a game that might not even be good, and some of them aren't good. To have it on your shelf, I mean, at that point, it's probably not going to gain much more value over that. Now, if you got it for $100 and you're like, I'm going to sit on this and hopefully it gains value, great. But like the Holy Grail thing, it's like, I just like, what? Oh, I found my Holy Grail. It's like, I cannot do it. Like, I see like this Claire Obscure game that I'm sure I would enjoy. It's like a turn-based RPG in the vein of the older Final Fantasies and stuff like that. It's like a $50 game, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll pick this up, physical copy, but they're all gone. And I don't know if they'll do a reprint or print more. And I'm like, I'm not. All of a sudden, people are selling the basic copy. There was like a collector's edition too. Regular copy selling for like $90 now. It's like, I'm not spending $90 on this fucking game. I don't give a shit. I'll buy it digitally at that point because that price isn't going to go up yet. Once it's all digital, they can manipulate their prices however they want, right? But I'm like, I'm not spending $90. Like, I have no problem. Like, I'm just like, nope, not doing it. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not spending that much money on a game. The only ones I would consider spending, and they're under 100 typically, is Fatal Frame and Fatal Frame 2 on the original Xbox. I'd consider. I have Fatal Frame 3 on the PS2 that I got off of Amazon at the end of 2020, new for $50, and I should have gotten the second one because it was there too. Now used, that thing sells for, maybe not now, I should just check, but I'm not going to bother. Now used, it sells for like $90, $100, and new, you get like $150. So you think, like, what? Where did this come from? I know 2020 during COVID, everybody started buying up games and shit, but some of these games were expensive even before that. The Fatal Frames were always a little pricey. They didn't hit that point yet, but like Clock Tower is one, Clock Tower 3 on the PS2. I got the game in 2009 for $5.99 complete at GameStop in Merrick, New York. I remember this. That's like a $50, $60 game now, which, looking at the end of the day, I don't know when it hit that number, because it hit that number, it could have been even 2018. I don't know for sure. But if you're looking at it from me getting it $6 in 2009 and 2025 sells, say it sells for $75, it really hasn't gained that much value over the years. It's gaining less than $10 in value a year, a lot less so. It's just, well, maybe it's getting around that. It's kind of just crazy, you know, like it's to me, I can buy some of these games, but I still don't want it. I could have $10 million in the bank, and I'm not going to spend $900 on a video game, even if I super want it. Like, what? In my mind, it's not worth doing that. To just have it for a little bit of joy, and then I'm like, okay, now what? Now it goes on the shelf and does jack shit. And that's the funny thing is, like, I never, you know, we're in an apartment. We live in an apartment, in Islip and stuff, I couldn't get all my games out on shelves. We didn't have the space. Down here, you've seen in some of my videos, the shelves behind me, I get my games on these 2 shelves. And then I'm looking at them and I'm like, I gotta start selling some of these. I don't need, or I don't even have that many. I probably have about 500 games, which, listen, is not a small amount, but look at some people on YouTube. They have over thousands of games. And I watch people's videos. I used to watch them back when I first started YouTube on my other Buried Under Cliche Chase channel that I couldn't access anymore because whatever, I won't talk about that. But in 2009, I would watch people's games collections. Like, people would have awesome game rooms and stuff, and I still see some. For me, I'd rather look at it. I don't even, like, I look at this whole back room. You can't see it, obviously, but I'm like, man, imagine these were all games. And then I'm like, no, I don't know. Because I'm not playing games at the rate I used to. So it's like, I'm just going to keep buying them to do what? At least with older games, if I play them for like 25 minutes, a half hour, you almost feel like you're satisfied. Like, oh, I got my money's worth, right? They're older games and not overly long to begin with, most of them. But like newer games, and I did this stupidly with the Xbox One. They were cheap, but that's like freaking 40 games I haven't touched in, maybe less than that, on the Xbox One. PS4, I just bought a bunch because they were cheap. And then I'm like, why did I buy these? What am I doing? That's why I never go full bore into collecting. It's like part of me wants to, but I don't have the mind to do it. I don't have the passion to do it. Or whatever, but as of who ruined collecting, I think all of us have in some way. I resell games. I've bought games at garage sales over the years. If you followed my old channel and you happen to make it here, or in my SMR channel, I've talked about garage sale pickups. I've sold games at profit. Nothing crazy. I've never gotten, I used to watch, even back in the day, you watch these pickup videos and everybody's getting the fucking hardest to find games. Somehow they're impossible to find and rare, yet every person going to a garage sale happens to be getting them. What? I've never gotten that crazy. I got like Final Fantasy 7s at the garage sales for like $5 and you're selling them for $35. But I've never gotten anything where this would be the thing. But I'm not coming across a fucking $2,000 game at a garage sale or a $900 game at a garage sale for $2. You're not going to come across Rule of Rose at a garage sale that often, if ever. Like, let's be honest. It wasn't a game that sold a shit ton to begin with. But I get video game prices can be nuts, but you can still collect at a cheap price. NES has a ton of great games for cheap. The original Xbox, although they're starting to go up a little bit, tons of great games. The PS2, you can find them all different values. You can find great games for under $20, under 10. I mean, admittedly, it's harder, especially with eBay. It's just hard to find under $10 games just because the shipping. If you're selling on eBay, the shipping's going to be like $4.50, $5 a lot of the times, and you sell a game at $10, you're barely making anything. Just because of the shipping. What else is up there? Oh, that was a cool garage sale pickup. I don't know if I ever talked about that. I think I did that in a show and tell, maybe. The Octopath Traveler. I had the game, but I found the Wayfarers Edition stuff, but not the game. Like, oh, there's no game here. It's $5. I'll take it. I have the game. I think it had everything in there, but like one thing. That was cool. And the soundtrack CD still sealed. That was cool. That's up on the shelf up there. But anyway, that's just rambling about some games and stuff. I don't, at the end of the day, I play games, the games I want typically because I want to. I don't want to be a shelf collector because I look at my shelves here and that's enough. And it's probably a little too much. I probably cut down 2 shelves there, like 2 levels of the shelf could probably be removed. I can sell 2 shelves worth of stuff. The original Xbox I still do want to collect for. But even that, I haven't gotten a game for that in a while. Burnout Revenge was the last one I got, and that was maybe 2 months ago. I never go full, because I'm not going to buy a bunch of games I have no interest in. I can't do that. I know some people like to get complete sets, and that's cool if you have that goal to go for. But even me, like, I could be like, I want to collect every original Xbox games, and part of me is like, why? I'm filling the goal. When I get there, I'm like, okay, the hole's still not filled. But that's just not, I have to understand I'm not really a collector, and I never have been. I like to have little collections on systems, but I'm not a full-blown, like, look at my NES collection, it's 500 games. Look at my original Xbox collection, it's 200 games. No, it'll never be like that. I have 100 games for my Xbox One, I believe, and, it's a cheap system to collect for, even still. PS4 as well, 360 is. If you do want to collect, you can get plenty of stuff. If you focus, like you can get like, just because a game doesn't have value doesn't mean it's not good. And good games that have a bunch of value doesn't mean they're good either. You know, like, come on, there's plenty of garbage games that people buy for over $500. And why would you like to say you have it? I don't know. Like I said, everybody's trying to fill a hole, right? Anyway, I'm gonna stop that here. Just rail on games. Let me know what you think if you comment on this. Let me know who you think who ruined collecting. We all ruined it. The sellers, the scalpers, the people that are ignorant to prices, the collectors in general who are just, the second you start buying games for more than they're worth, or you think they're worth, I mean, I guess they're worth whatever you're willing to pay for it, especially games that aren't being made anymore anyway. The price on those could be anything. It's just because you think it's old, you're like, I should be paying less. And if you get stuff at garage sales for $1, $2, $3, you're like, no, you expect garage sale prices on eBay. It's like, no, you can't think that way. But anyway, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.